Okay. All right, sorry for the delay if anyone's been waiting. Oh, my chest is a little bit fading into the background. Having some, oh, why am I all red? That's crazy. Is that better? Maybe that's a little bit better, but I'm still kind of, ooh, kind of blue. Is that just me right now, or is there someone else joining? And the right stream? Maybe that's the problem with the lights, or... Okay. Okay, well, let's see. Let's get started. So sorry for the delay. There were some technical problems on our end. I'm using a different computer than usual. As you may notice, I can't get the fade to the right amount. So there's like little bits of like whatever blue bits. I don't know. So please, oh, hello, Nana. Nice to see you. Like I was saying, please be patient with the strange colorings in the video. It's a different mic, and I think the light that I normally use, I think Daria might be using it for her broadcast right now. So that's why the lighting looks a bit weird. It's a different camera than usual. I was trying to see like if I could make it a little bit more, I don't know, I guess like, should I go up? Should I go this way? Oh, that's the wrong way. Okay, that's definitely the wrong way. Okay. But then that's too much, right? Very difficult to know. But yeah, hello, Nana. It's nice to see you. I'm becoming part of the European flag. Look, I'm like Superman, but European. Anyways, sorry about the strange color problems. How's everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well, Nana. Thank you for joining the broadcast. And thanks for saying hello. So, also, yes, sorry about the delay for starting kind of late. Took me a while to get it online, so I had to find the email account and the password. Anyways, so two things that I want to talk about this week. Well, there's like two primary things. So the first thing I want to talk about is Nobel Prizes. And particularly there's this like these two female scientists who did some like genome editing. So genome editing, so like altering DNA, altering these different things, right? So that you can get different effects from your whatever, you know? I wonder if maybe I just need to turn the lights off in here and then the fade might work better. Maybe I should turn the lights off in here. Maybe that's the problem. Too bright. Could be. Could be. Okay, yes, that's the number one thing that I wanted to talk about. The number two thing I wanted to talk about is the political situation in Montenegro. So Montenegro is a country in the Balkans. Has anyone here ever been to Montenegro? Or have you ever been to the Balkans? If you have, please let me know in the comments and give us a little reply or whatever. Yes. Anyways, So let's start off with the Nobel Prizes. So as you know, Nobel Prizes are a prize given out to scientists. Is originally Swedish and invented in Sweden by Alfred Nobel. So Alfred Nobel, he discovered nitroglycerin, which is dynamite, and he accidentally killed his son. So his son touched the nitroglycerin, and there was a huge explosion. And so Alfred Nobel killed his own son by accident with his discovery. And after seeing all of the weapons and horrible things that his discovery of dynamite created, he decided to make the Nobel Prizes as a way of fixing the wrongs that he had done and trying to give back to the world after all of the problems he had caused. So it's actually like a very what's the word? Kind of like atonement. He's seeking like forgiveness from the bad mistakes that he had made in the past. And so, anyways, the Nobel Prizes this week, I think there's been 3 that have been awarded so far. So one Nobel Prize was awarded to these 2 Swedish scientists, these 2 women, and the Nobel Prize in, I guess, biology is what they were given. So they got this Nobel Prize for genome editing. They're after making a new form of gene editing, kind of similar to like CRISPR, I guess. If you don't know what CRISPR is, you should look it up. CRISPR is very interesting. Yeah, CRISPR. That is, I don't think that's what they got the award for, but it's similar to CRISPR, is the technology that they invented. So the description of their invention is a kind of molecular scissors, right? So molecular means like molecule, like H2O is a molecule, right? CO2 is a molecule. Sodium chloride, like table salt, is a molecule on the small scale, right? So this molecular scissors is the same size as a molecule. It's very small. You can't see it with the human eye. You need a microscope, and even then, you like can't really see it, I guess. But you can see a representation of it. And so this molecular scissors, created by the 2 women, Swedish scientists who got the Nobel Prize in biology, they can use this to very accurately sequence DNA. Sequence meaning like list all of the different parts. So in DNA there's like A, C, G, T, like the 4 different pieces that make up DNA. And it's the combination of these 4 letters, or these 4 basically chemical signals. Those 4 letters can combine to make any sort of combination that is needed for the body. So the entire script of human biology is written in these 4 letters, or these 4 chemicals that store information, which is amazing. Like the formation of your brain, the formation of your heart, the autonomic symptoms such as heartbeat, breath regulation, blood pressure, synaptic reflexes, all of these different things firing in the body and working all day and all night, from the day you're born to the day you die, are written in only 4 letters in the DNA. And so these women found a way to get a scissors so tiny. It's the same size as a molecule, basically. And this molecular scissors can go in and find an exact point in the combination of those 4 letters in the DNA. And then you can cut and take out or remove a single strand of DNA or genetics and turn that off, whether that's gene editing from before birth or after birth. So the idea is that this new technology will allow them to save people from inherited diseases. So a disease that you get from your genes, from your DNA, from your parents. So let's say, for example, what's a disease that's hereditary? Schizophrenia, for example, is thought to be partially hereditary. You can, if your parents have schizophrenia, you are like 50% more likely to get schizophrenia, or like a very large percentage higher of having schizophrenia, right? So it's like, if your parents have it, there's a 50-50 chance that you will have it. Of course, that depends on the interaction of your body with the environment around it. But with this kind of technology, they can stop one gene, maybe start a different gene, and figure out what exactly needs to be done. They could also enable other genes or shut off other genes. So there's actually a lot that could be done with it, and it could be a very good thing. But what do you guys think? What do you think about gene editing? And do you think it's like a good thing? Oh, what's happening in Montenegro? We're going to move on to that. Yes. So, but yeah, tell me what you think about biological molecular scissors, and let's move on to Montenegro. There's some other Nobel Prizes, but they're non-European, so I was like, whatever. Anyways, so Montenegro, for the first time in over 30 years, there is a new coalition government. So coalition government. Coalition means like a combination of different political parties. So let's say you don't have enough. Let's say, politicians that won seats in this government party and in this one. So instead, to get the amount that you need, you combine your government's parties to make a coalition government. So that would be a government with multiple leaders and multiple policies, and kind of everyone trying to work together, instead of one government made from one party. Like, for example, right now, the Japanese government is a single party government right now. There's only the Democratic, whatever they're called. Yeah. And so what's interesting about this coalition government is that Milo Djukanovic, I don't know. His name is really hard to pronounce. Milo Djukanovic. It's the first time in 30 years that he has not had his party in power. So his party is no longer ruling Montenegro after 30 years of one leader, one party, the government never changing after 30 years, which is, it's crazy. Like, could you imagine like Donald Trump being president of America for 30 years? Like, that's the same situation in Montenegro. And so what's weird though, which I thought was very weird, is that the party finally changed, and now it is changing to this coalition party. These three different parties, government parties, are combined together, and they have three leaders, three different leaders that are working together. But the president is still the same. So Milo Djukanovic, the guy who's been there for 30 years, he is still the president. He's still the president there, even though it's a new government and it's a new party. So I need to look into that more and figure out how exactly their governing system works. Because, like, for example, the Irish government has a president, and then we have a Taoiseach. And a Taoiseach is like our prime minister in Ireland. And they have like the real power, whereas the president in Ireland is more of like an ambassador. They don't actually have much power or much ability to decide laws. It's more of a symbolic role, right? But here in Montenegro, there's kind of like this. So the president, who's been president for the last 30 years, he still has a lot of power, even though the party around him has changed and there is a completely new government. But the president's still the same, which is really weird in my opinion. But a lot of the problems and a lot of the reasons why they're kind of changing and such is because there's a lot of corruption in Montenegro. So there's, let's say, tax money being used in the wrong way. There's corruption among state officials, whether that be police or military or politicians, which is, I think, kind of common in every country to have that kind of corruption. But it's very extreme here, the corruption in Montenegro. You know, and even what like I thought was crazy is one of the things that like NATO. So the new government is saying they want to cooperate more with NATO. You know, the National Atlantic Trade Organization, right? Which is kind of a Western thing, you know, and Montenegro is trying to get more involved, with Western side of things, and actually wants to join the EU. But they're still kind of facing some barriers. They made an application a long time ago to join the EU, and so now there's a lot of bureaucracy that's being kind of changed, and people are figuring out how to do it. The problem is, or something I thought was very strange, is that in Montenegro, one of the reasons that they had problems joining EU in the past was basically we found out that there were Russian spies or Russian operatives working in the Montenegro intelligence services. When I say intelligence services, think like for America, it's CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, or for the UK, it's like MI6, right? And MI5 for intelligence agencies, right? And like in Germany, it's the BND, I think, like BND for Germany for intelligence services. But in the intelligence services in Montenegro, they found Russian operatives and Russian spies working there. And then instead, they were asked, okay, please get rid of these Russian spies, get rid of these Russian operatives. This happened a long time ago with the spies. This was like a few years ago with the old government, not the new government. Anyway, so they had these spies that they knew were Russian. And then the president was like, okay, I'll get rid of them from the intelligence services. So he moved the Russian spies from the Montenegro intelligence services to the state police department. So now, he knew they were Russian spies and that they're collecting information about the West or like about any possible European plans with the Balkans and so forth. But instead of getting rid of them, they just moved them, which is really weird. I don't know. I guess like maybe they're afraid of Russia. Who's not afraid of Russia? I don't know. But they moved them to state police department, which I guess could be like home security, home intelligence. But I guess if the government in Montenegro knows that they are Russian spies and Russian operatives, maybe they're there on purpose and it's an agreement that they have and they're happy to work together and maybe they're giving some kind of support. But it's kind of difficult to know, you know? Anyways, yes. And like part of the coalition's new plan, so with the 3 new leaders that they have, along with the weird 30 years president, Milo, I don't know what that's about. Anyways, one of the things that like led to this kind of change was like they had these huge protests in Montenegro, and these protests were kind of like revolving around freedom of property, freedom of religion, because the government in Montenegro is officially socialist democrat, despite not being very democratic and not very socialist. But that's their name. And one thing they wanted to do was they passed this law to like take back property from religious property, so that churches and cathedrals and mosques and synagogues, whatever, they would become state property and there would no longer be a religious freedom of property. And that's one of the things that led to these protests, which is quite surprising to me. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that? Like, would you protest if that was happening? If you felt that the Japanese government would take over control of religious property, how would you feel about that in Japan? Or would you care? Or would you be happy about it? Or would you not be happy about it? Or would you, well, how would you feel about that whole situation? I'm interested to know, so let me know. And anyways, I guess that means it is almost time for us to finish up. Let's just do a quick wrap up on what we have left. So we talked about Nobel Prizes and the Swedish winners, who were female scientists with gene editing tools. And there's also some other Nobel Prizes awarded to like Roger Penrose. He's a British physicist who's always getting Nobel Prizes. And then there's like, I think it's his work on black holes, in cosmic black holes in outer space. And then there was another one given to a German guy, a German doctor, researcher, and an American researcher. They discovered hepatitis C. They got another Nobel Prize for medicine. Then the other thing that we talked about was Montenegro and the changing of their very long government, which was the same president, the same party for over 30 years. We also talked about the new coalition government, why they were having protests, and like why this is a big deal for the change that's happening now. Yeah, I totally agree, Nana. I am also afraid of those kind of things. I think there is a problem with government being too powerful and government deciding too many things for people's lives. I think we need to have more freedoms in certain ways. I mean, my opinion has always been, if you're not hurting anyone else, you should be allowed to do what you want with your own body and with your own life, as long as it's not hurting someone else. Like like being a murderer is like, nah, don't do that. That's hurting other people. But if it's just yourself and there's something that you're interested in, whether it be religion or a lifestyle of some kind, I think you should definitely be free to make your own decisions, especially as an adult. Yeah. Anyways, that's us for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us in What's New in Europe, which I only wrote down as What's in Europe, number 5, which sounds very strange. Anyways, goodbye and good night. Thank you very much, guys.